Welcome back, everyone. In the Carter File tonight, the province has admitted liability in a case that dates back to the mid-70s, decades ago, when circumstances that might shock and even offend. Cyril Noseworthy, a guard at the Pleasantville Youth Centre, was convicted of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old boy. The victim was sent here to the boys' home for 3 years after stealing food from his foster parents. It is where he was repeatedly sexually assaulted by a guard. Now in his 50s, that victim is looking for compensation.
We know that there's been proof in another court beyond a reasonable doubt that sexual assaults were committed against our client, and we know that the offender was a prison guard in a youth facility. Therefore, the government is liable, and in coming to court today and agreeing to the order, the government is admitting that they're liable.
Courts in this country apply limited damages in cases like this, about $350,000. The victim is looking for much more.
A person who is suffering from the trauma may sometimes be unable to work, and so there can be a claim for lost income over the lifetime. This gentleman is 56 years old now, and he's had a very difficult work history, very few long-term employments. He had surprisingly, he had a real issue with authority, and that often got him in trouble at the work site. So, a lot of money.
The guard who assaulted the young boy was initially sentenced to 30 days. That was changed on appeal to a year. But the youngster was also the victim of physical and sexual abuse while in foster care. That, too, is part of this case.
In that regard, we're hoping that we're going to be able to convince the government that they're liable there as well. But if not, we're ready to go to trial and prove it. We know that the foster care system in the 60s and 70s in this province was horribly broken, and that children who were in care were often left in foster homes for long periods of time without any visits from any social worker. In this case, we know that there was at least one other person, one other male youth, who complained that he was sexually assaulted in the foster home where our client was living, and the government is unable to find the file of that foster